The High Court ruling as unlawful the government's decision to prescribe Palestine Action as a terror group. We can bring in our political correspondent, Amanda Acas, on that. Clearly not the verdict that the Home Secretary wanted, a different Home Secretary to that who introduced this legislation, Amanda. She says that she is going to appeal. Just talk us through on what basis.
Yes, so it was indeed Yvette Cooper, who was the Home Secretary, who took the decision to recommend prescribing Palestine Action back in July, not long after activists filmed themselves breaking into RAF Bryce Norton and spray painting two military planes there, causing millions in damage. But it hadn't been universally accepted as a decision by members of the House of Commons, who had to vote through the prescription order at the time. And indeed, there was a rebellion from some Labour MPs, 10 Labour MPs at the time, mainly left-wingers, argued it was anti-democratic and disproportionate to do this. They said they didn't believe that the definition of terrorism acts, which does include causing serious damage to property in the name of advancing a cause or influencing government policy or intimidating the public, there was an argument that that is a definition that needs to be tightened up at the time. And indeed, the court ruling is that the prescription was disproportionate. Now, the Home Secretary now, Shabana Mahmood, says she disagrees with that ruling and the Home Office is going to appeal against it. Let me read you a little bit more about what she had to say. So she said the court has acknowledged that Palestine Action has carried out acts of terrorism, celebrated those who have taken part in those acts and promoted the use of violence. It has also concluded that Palestine Action is not an ordinary protest or civil disobedience group, and that its actions are not consistent with democratic values and the rule of law. For those reasons, I'm disappointed by the court's decision and disagree with the notion that banning this terrorist organisation is disproportionate. So clearly the government's lawyers will be continuing the fight in the courts, and until that appeal process is heard, then the ban, according to the ruling today, does remain in place. Now, there's been quite a lot of political reaction to this already. A number of those MPs who I mentioned before rebelled against the initial prescription have been out saying that they were right all along and that it was, of course, unlawful. That's what Carl Turner MP said, for example. The Liberal Democrats have also issued a statement saying it was a grave misuse of terrorism laws. Placing Palestine Action in the same legal category as ISIS was disproportionate and risks undermining public trust and civil liberties. So that's a reference to the fact that there are 84 groups that are currently prescribed, including Al-Qaeda, ISIS, National Action, groups like that as well. The Green Party saying that everyone who has already received a criminal record for having expressed their support for Palestine Action in some way under this ban should have their criminal records wiped. Now, the Metropolitan Police have also issued a statement in response to this, given the kind of legal grey area that we're in now. Let me read you that. So they say the High Court has found the decision to prescribe Palestine Action was unlawful. However, the group remains prescribed pending the outcome of any government appeal, which means expressing support is still a criminal offence. From a Metropolitan Police perspective, officers will continue to identify offences where support for Palestine Action is being expressed, but they will focus on gathering evidence of those offences and the people involved to provide opportunities for enforcement at a later date rather than making arrest at the time. Now, clearly, the government is going to fight back against this, but I think it's important to point out that they've had a very difficult week and now yet another blow. Clearly, we've seen nearly 3,000 people arrested for supporting Palestine Action, a lot of backlash about whether this is really the right way of dealing with this situation. Sir Keir Starmer had a lot of flack for the way he's handled the whole situation in the Middle East, and this certainly is just adding to that sense of anger and frustration that many of his opponents feel.